Sooner Nation, Thunder Nation, we are back. This is the Just Okay Sports Podcast. That's Just Oklahoma Sports Podcast. I'm one of your real idiots, Daryl. I am here with my brother Jared and my good friend Troy. We will be talking all things Sooners, sports, and Thunder related. That's what we do here. So please like, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, even though this podcast is just okay at best. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
I'm good. We don't have a timer up in your covering your face this time, so
yeah. What was the deal with that timer last time?
We never really just stopped using it. And
well, y'all were so mad about it, I wasn't going to keep putting it up there.
That's true.
We're gonna keep bringing it up though.
Yeah, I know. For the rest of my life, I'm well aware.
Yeah. Hey, Jared, doesn't Daryl look like because he's got all black on and he's got the white mic? Doesn't he look like a man of the cloth right now?
He does. He does.
Doesn't he look like he's wearing some?
He really bought it.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Hold on. See if I can.
Yes. Yes. You gotta make it right there.
He really bought it. He really bought into the Danny Stutzman communion tweet or Instagram.
Oh gosh, that was freaking incredible. By the way,
apparently it wasn't even Danny on the deal. Said it wasn't him. I don't remember who he said sent it to him as a joke. And was going to use it, and they never did. And so he was like, "You didn't use it. I'm going to use it." Yeah, I didn't realize. Like, I think it was like Lil Yachty and like some rappers, and then Christian McCaffrey and a bunch of people like reacted to it and stuff. So I was like, "That's pretty sick."
That's awesome.
Are we going to talk about Danny and the first team All Big 12 team today? Is that on the flow?
It is not currently in the flow because it came out after we made said flow. But yes, we need to talk about All Big 12 because I want Jared to rant so hard about who made second team All Big 12 today.
So for all the people that don't know, this is a running joke between us three. Daryl always makes a flow, and a flow is all the topics we talk about during the podcast.
Correct.
I haven't looked at a flow in probably 2.5 years. No joke. Like, I haven't looked at it, and they always say, "Troy, check out the flow." I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And Jared gives me a good laugh every time, and I'm here for the laughter.
I'm here. You're here for it all day, every day. So, well, to kick off our flow, Troy, I think we have to start at the news that became official really kind of last night, but official today. And that is, we'll start right at the Sooners. They have found their guys. BV has found his guys with the new offensive coordinator hire of Seth Littrell joining the staff full-time, and also John Finley being named as the co-offensive coordinator. So I know that if you're listening to this, you may have already heard some of these things, but we're still going to put it out there anyway. Littrell's background was he was an offensive coordinator at University of North Carolina, Indiana, Arizona, and he was the head coach at North Texas, where he coached for 6 seasons as the head coach, 5 of which he had North Texas Bowl eligible. Not too bad. He also has a long background of coaching running backs and tight ends through his career. I did want to share these stats with you guys before I ask you about Littrell specifically. This is from Blinken, by the way, who no longer calls himself Blinken Riley, just calls himself Blinken for obvious reasons. But this is pretty good stuff. At Arizona, before arriving in the S&P Plus rating system, Arizona was 34th. The first year he was there, they jumped to 19th. His second year, they went to 14th. At Indiana, before he got there, they were 42nd. In his first year, they were 15th. In his second year, they were 4th in the country at S&P Plus on offense. And then at UNC, they were 19th before his arrival, 13th his first year, and 2nd in the country when he was there his second year. So, and as I mentioned already, again, took North Texas to several bowl games, had a rough 6th season, was cut loose, and became an analyst with OU. How do you guys feel about Seth Littrell being the play caller?
He's also a former Sooner. He played for 2000.
2000 national championship team.
Same with John.
Yes.
And they're those two are very close already, have a good relationship. Go ahead. Seth Littrell's family's apparently been living in Oklahoma for a while. Like, there was that whole deal, and like
Well, he's from Muskogee, is his
Yeah.
like upbringing home, and then also him and Beedenbow were together for a stint at Arizona as well. So, so there's some relationship and some past there. So, Troy, I'll start with you. How do you feel about Seth Littrell being the guy?
I was surprised. By the way, you got to say Seth Littrell and JoJo Finley. They're co.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. Seth will be calling plays, but yeah,
he'll be calling the plays. But I was surprised it wasn't Emmett. That was
he got didn't he get a title?
He's associate head
coach.
Yeah.
What did you see real quick? Sorry, not to interrupt you. Did you see his ether tweet today? Where all the receivers were tweeting it?
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
It feels good. It feels like it's a good tweet. Like I'm just going out there.
This is probably me like being an old, but I'm guessing it means like they like it's kind of like ether, like grabbing at air sort of thing is what I would assume, but I don't know.
Well, the one when he just kept pointing at all of them and going, "Pick your poison. You want him? You want him? You want him?" And they all were just like, "Yep." Like they love that dude, man. That was obvious. So
Jared, you're not the only old. Like Daryl and I were called olds today at lunch. So
yes, we were. Yes,
that's fair.
Yeah. What's the track record for OCs at OU? They all become head coaches, right?
Since even when they fail.
99, 90, 98 or 99. 99. Yeah. All of them. So good track record, right? And I have no reason not to trust BV right now. I do think it's interesting that most of the staff is former players, which is cool, interesting. I want to see how it plays out. So I hold judgment until I see crap happen, and then like the rest of OU faithful, we'll probably dogpile on the OC. 3 games into the season.
Fair enough. Jared, how'd you feel about it?
I felt really good about it, honestly. Like, I actually was, didn't know how to feel about it at first, but then, like I said, like whenever Levy left, obviously those names immediately got thrown around.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little bit like, I don't know. But then, like, the more I thought about it, I was like, it really makes perfect sense. Like, they run very similar systems. The familiarity with not only the other staff members, but the players. Like, the transition for them is going to be so much more seamless. And while I think everybody looks at Seth Littrell and is like, well, he got fired at North Texas, so why is he our OC? And it's like, the dude's been successful everywhere he's been, right? Like, what happened in North Texas is what happened in North Texas. And then I know like John Finley gets a lot of hate, and I know we're probably going to talk about him later, but it's just like I like I said, I really think it's a home run hire. Like,
yeah, it's been weird. Like, I think it's one of those weird things. Golly, I don't remember how. I think it is that Bill Beedenbow has been at OU for 10 years now.
Bull crap! You're making that up.
It's a dumb number.
Yeah, he was here when Lincoln got here. I know that. I think he got here in 2013 or 2014, so that's probably about right.
That's wild.
Right. But here's the deal. Because of that, I think people think that Joe Finley's been here a long time, and he hasn't.
Yeah.
He got here the season of 2021. So he's only in his second year. And the reality is his one recruiting class, or really his 2 recruiting classes, Jason Llewellyn was hurt all through fall camp. You had Caden Helms hurt all through spring and fall camp. And then you had Cade McIntyre make a great play early in the season. We thought, okay, he might be. And then he broke his hand and was out for 8 weeks with a broken hand. So, like, I know the wide receiver room was really, really bad this year, and we all agree with that. Or tight end room, sorry.
You take that back.
Yeah, let's say. Well, there's going to be people going to get their pitchforks for that.
Yeah, sorry. The tight end room was really bad, but it was very injury related, and I don't think Joe John was like, "Hey, go get hurt." I don't think that was really part of it. Yeah. And by the way, yes, he has been here since 2013. Bill Beedenbow has.
Yeah. So the hire I thought was really good, and like I don't know. I know that there was a lot of rumblings. I read this online on people that are sourced. I'm not sourced. But that DeMarco, there was conversations with DeMarco from Levy to try to maybe get him to come to Mississippi State as an offensive coordinator, and And like a lot of people were like, it sounded like for a while that there was some really good interest, and I'm sure that there was, because that's obviously probably a significant pay bump for DeMarco. But again, it's like stuff like this is where it's going to keep it going. And like I told somebody, like I was like, if you really start analyzing what BV's doing with the whole promote from within, like you're going to be able to start getting superstars to come be position coaches, because like it's like you come here and you're going to have a chance. You know, I'm not saying you're going to get Nick Saban to start coaching DBs, right? But you know what I mean? Like if you find a young and up and comer that's looking for somewhere to go, come to OU, and it's like you could be the OC in a few years.
On the flip side of that, then you're going to miss out on a lot of hot names,
right?
That is across the country.
Well,
that wouldn't come and wouldn't entertain us.
And my fear is too that you become that so much that you become a little too insulated, right? Like everything we're doing is the thing, as opposed to when you bring people in from the outside. Like, I mean, look, none of us, we all have our opinion, whatever. Lincoln coming to OU was huge. He changed everything by coming from the outside in and bringing some of his stuff on the offensive side of the ball, right? Like,
and there was, and like I said, there was just as many reports that they did kick the tires with a couple other guys. I think the uniqueness of the timing, in a way, not to say that that wouldn't have been the pick in the end. Like I said, I think they got their guys or whatever,
right?
But you know, they kicked the tires on some other people. But it's like you're trying to convince somebody in this scenario to come to OU in a matter of weeks and be up to speed and running with recruiting and coaching and everything else to be able to do something. You know what I mean? So like this makes sense. I like, it's just one of those things that I think in this scenario it all makes sense. I'm not saying you have to hire everybody, every OC or DC needs to be hired from within. I'm just saying that it shows that he has that propensity to be able to do that. So I think that could be a draw for guys like that. But you know, like I said, I really like it. I'm actually excited to see. I know Seth is going to be most likely calling plays. Actually, I think they already announced that he's gonna be calling plays for the bowl game. So I'm interested to see like if what little wrinkles he has. It's different because like he's in the Levy tree, so to speak, like that same branch, but he's got a little bit different. Like he does a little bit more veer and stuff like that. So I wonder how all that's gonna sort of fit.
Jet sweeps. Does he like the jet sweep?
Oh my god!
There are some in his highlight reels from his old schools. Yes, it's in there.
Sorry, I have to because that's the.
So here's I'll do my bit, which is to be the darkness a little bit, right? And that is, I did not like how fast this decision was made, personally. And I get what you're saying, but look, I think it was very clear that no matter who they hired, they were not getting rid of any of the offensive staff, which, by the way, is the exact thing, the same thing they did with Levy. They brought Levy here and kept everybody. So that's not a different thing. They did that last time, and it took a little time for that to go. And I just don't understand why you don't spend a little more time.
But you have to, but you, that's not a fair comparison.
Why?
Because Levy had familiarity with a lot of people on staff already.
Because they played together.
No. He worked with Joe John at Ole Miss, and he worked.
When did he work with Bill Bedenbaugh? He never did.
Yeah.
So here's my conspiracy theory on that, because I was thinking about this today, and it might have been from a tweet, or it might have been me being original, which is highly doubtful. But it feels like they made this decision weeks ago. They've gone down this rabbit hole for a long time, maybe took one or two outside interviews as soon as they knew Levy was gone, just to do their due diligence. But I feel like this was the move that was going to happen always. And like they knew this was going to happen. Let's just go down that rabbit hole. This was going to happen after the Brile stuff happened. I think they started playing. I think they started planning it. We have all discussed about somebody's significant other on text chain today. Okay. This was
don't go there.
I'm just saying this was already planned weeks ago. This was the contingency, and this is what they decided on the contingency. That's what it smells like. Because you said, Daryl, it happened way too fast.
I mean, I think it happened really fast. I also think that I think there were other evidence to that is the number of guys that reaffirm their commitment so quickly.
But that's why.
Because
exactly why.
I thought when Levy left, I was like, there's a good chance Joe John goes with them because they're really, really close.
They're best.
We talked about it on the last podcast.
They're best friends.
Yeah.
Yes,
so we thought Joe John was gone. I was like, if he goes, then Davin Mitchell's probably going to go. And he was like that night was like, no, I'm solid. So like, I feel like at that point they
knew. They already knew.
Yeah.
Everybody knew. And that's the other thing I want to bring up. As soon as it was announced, everybody, all of the recruits, except for we've only lost one 3-star wide receiver at this point on decommitment. All of these big names are all just tweeting like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I'm still locked in." And as soon as it was announced, they all freaking like lost their mind on Twitter.
I don't want to derail us. I want to get Daryl's thoughts, but he's got to go down his dark path. We're derailing him, and I want to let him finish. I do want to interject something about Levy after you're done.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me the recruits like it because look, Littrell has been there as an analyst. He gets to interact with the players. So they're not having to learn someone new. That's the positive, right? But still, I think from you mentioned it earlier, Troy, there's so many old OU guys on this staff. I just hope that he didn't make this decision so quick that he's going to close himself off to when he gets to a point that there isn't an old OU alum to take a position and he's got to go outside the walls to get somebody. I'm afraid that it's like, well, I'm not an OU guy. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter. It's like, well, it has for like 6 years. Literally your entire staff is OU people. You have no one from outside the OU tree as a part of anything there.
Is Ted Roof OU tree?
He's BV tree along with Bates. And that's what I'm like.
And
but
Chavis?
Everybody else, Chavis, those are all of his Clemson guys. They're BV attached.
Emmett
all
Jones?
These guys are BV attached. They crossed paths somewhere. Where was it that they knew each other from?
Who?
Emmett Jones.
But Emmett wasn't part of the OU. Like he's never been.
He's not a
OU.
part of that tree. All that to say, you still need to do your due diligence that way. If you're going to call someone, I think you need to go a little bit farther in your investigation than I called and said, what do you think? No, maybe, could be. Okay, bye. I'm going to go hire this guy. It felt that fast to me.
Okay, but
there's just enough names that I would have liked the process to play out a little bit
just
more.
Telling you, this was not a 48-hour deal. This was playing week.
And then here's the other thing. Second thing, really quick to get my negatives out. You don't have a quarterback coach on this roster. Joe John Finley has no quarterback experience. Seth Littrell has no quarterback experience at all. And I think we all believe in Jackson Arnold. But who is supposed to be the on-field coach making him great when you have a running back and a tight end coach and a tight end coach?
Sam Bradford, QB analyst?
They have openings.
Analysts
they're
can do no on-field coaching.
I know. They're
going to bring in like off season. I think the staff alters a little bit, right? Because they've got openings now. So
no, they don't.
No, they don't because Littrell was an analyst.
Littrell fills the only opening they have.
Yeah, you're right.
Again, like, what do you do now for him?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I think this has been decided. Like, I'm with Troy. The other thing that I've thought of is the other evidence I would give to the whole this decision was made weeks ago. I feel like Mississippi State probably had Levy picked out, or Levy basically had said, I'm gonna hit the door afterwards to go wherever. Or like maybe midway through the season or whatever. Like I said, maybe because of Bryles, maybe because of whatever. But the other part is that it happens so fast, and there's so many things like even when they hired Brent, I know hiring Brent and paying him $5 million a year, whatever they're paying him, is a bigger thing. But like that took days. Like that took several days for them to get that all, like where all the regents approved and everybody was checking off every box. They did all their backgrounds. And I understand these guys being on staff expedites that a little bit. But again, 48 hours is really, really fast. So, and like I said, the fact that the recruits jumped in, I think it was. But that does going to lead me to another point with Levy. Right? Because I don't know if you guys have seen somebody put out there, and I don't know, somebody tweeted, even Parker and a bunch of other people were coming after this guy, and he kind of deserves it. But basically somebody had written an article about how Levy had contacted Michael Hawkins about, whatever. And people were mad about it. And I was like, that's dumb. That's stupid.
Job.
Yeah, like his job is to make Mississippi State win and make them a better football team. It's not to make OU fans happy. Like
that was the one dude that I would have thought maybe goes, because he's not getting to play over Jackson Arnold. Then you got Kevin Sperry coming behind him, right? So I would like Hawkins makes sense to go with Levy, but here we are.
And he, the way he phrased it, like the article was very misleading, because like if you see like the transcript of the actual conversation or whatever, it sounds much more like they just had a conversation, whatever. I'm sure, like he's going to try to knock on that door. That happens. I just think yes, Levy's going to come after people. The one thing that I probably took a little bit more exception with was if it's true that he did come after DeMarco so hard. It's like, if you're poaching staff, then I sort of like Joe John. I understand y'all are best friends. You have that connection, but it's like there was at one point where it was like he was trying to poach Bill Bedenbow, Murray, Joe John. I don't know if that's true. That's what the source people were saying. I was like, that's probably a little messed up to kind of, because you're kind of pulling a Lincoln and trying to gut the staff as you walk out. But him going after players, it's like, dude, they owe the University of Oklahoma nothing. They know the fan base nothing. Like he
Mississippi State's a great job. Why aren't they going with Levy to?
Here we go.
That's fair. No,
Mississippi State is a crap job. Let's be honest. It is a terrible job.
It's a hard job. Well,
here's the thing. I didn't, by the way, I didn't know this. Did you know that the Selman brothers, it's like one of their grandsons I didn't realize that he was the one that was the name.
Yeah,
I saw
our
Selman.
associate. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. And again, that's why I don't buy into the drama stuff as much. Selman, who is there, was one of the people who helped hire Levy to OU. He was at OU when they hired Levy, their athletic director, which, by the way, he's also supposed to be the heir apparent to Joe C. This is supposed to be kind of his on-the-job training at Mississippi State. And when Joe C leaves, he's coming back to be the AD at OU. That's the plan right now. So all that to say, he already knew the whole process of getting Levy in and knew what all the things to do to get into Mississippi State, because he had already run that course with Levy before. He knew the things he wanted, the things he was after, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a little bit the same with hiring Seth Littrell so fast. He's already on staff as an analyst. So you have all those. You already have the background check done. You already have the does he fit stuff done. You already have the relationships done. It's just really money, right? At that point, it's like, what are we going to pay you, right? Like, what's it going to take to get you to do the spot? So there was already some legwork done at both places because of the past history of hiring these folks.
And did y'all listen to Gabe and Teddy's podcast about it all yet?
I don't listen to podcasts. Don't ask me that question ever again.
He doesn't even listen to our podcast. But like they made a good point though that like Selman and Levy were a big part about really getting NIL to another level at OU.
Yes.
And they said, and like I think it was Gabe said he went and visited Mississippi State whenever and said he was like, dude, like he's like their NIL program. He's like, I haven't seen every school, but he's like their NIL program is extremely organized and extremely well run. Like he's like
and apparently Levy was the rock and foundation of OU's NIL program. Like he is the one who drove it to get going and got it moving. So that's going to be another interesting thing, is who's picking up that torch. Who's going to continue to drive that, because it is a major part of all of it.
I'll do it.
So we'll see. So, I mean, again, I'm not mad about the hires. I think it could be fine. I mean, when you really look at some of those S&P numbers and things, it's all good. It's interesting to me. So I have to be, trying to be real on both ends. I just got done crapping on USC for hiring a tight end coach that had 1 year experience at Tulsa to be their entire offensive line coach at USC. And we just hired a guy to be our OC and quarterback coach who has nothing but a history of running backs and tight ends. And so that's my only other concern.
That's fair. But like I said, let's see all this play out, shall we?
And while I say that, I do know that, which of course He was head coach, but I know there was a kid at North Texas that he coached. The name's blanking on me right now, but I know he set all kinds of records at North Texas. And
Mason something's his name. I can't remember.
And like he had said that Seth Littrell was a huge reason that he was as good at quarterback specifically. So, now that's because he probably a lot to do. He has to say because he's a head coach. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And again, I do think from recruiting, it's going to be a good thing. He'll do a good job. Another thing, by the way, it adds yet another guy. The OU staff definitely has the number one CrossFit team of all coaches in America. Like Seth Littrell is still jacked beyond belief.
I don't know.
Venables jacked beyond belief. Jay Valai jacked beyond belief.
You had to say CrossFit.
Oh my God. Okay.
Benny Wiley's at USC, dog. Benny Wiley's at USC. He could never do a CrossFit competition. There's no way. That was actually his whole thing.
We brought up USC way too much on this podcast already. Okay.
All right, so now with this, we know who the OC is. We know that Jackson Arnold's not leaving. We know Davin Mitchell's not leaving, right? We know a few of those things. I wanted us to do a little experiment here for a minute. Not experiment, prediction. We're going to go way too far ahead. The season's over. It's been a good year. We're 10-2. We don't know the dates of all these games, so that makes it a little tricky. So we're going to revisit this post-spring game, all that good stuff, which, by the way, spring game...
This is way too early for this. This is way too early for this.
Oh, I know it is. You're welcome. April 20th is the spring game, by the way. It's already been announced. You can go ahead and get your tickets. I want to guess the record of OU next year in the SEC.
This is so dumb. Like, there's so many, I hate this so much.
Too bad. We did it today at lunch, and you egged it on. Guess what?
I didn't do it today. You did it today. I was just goading the situation.
Exactly. So I'm goading this one on you. You're welcome. All right. Troy.
I pushed back. Oh, God.
Temple at home. Win or loss?
Win.
Houston?
Is it at home or away?
It is at home.
Win.
Tulane at home. This one's kind of interesting, actually.
Win.
Longhorns.
Pass.
Pass. At Auburn.
Here's the problem, Daryl. God bless it, man. We don't know what we have in Jackson Arnold. We think we do. We don't. We have a new OC. We don't know how improved our defense is going to be. This is difficult to do at this point. Let me watch the spring game and let me know what happens with the transfer portal. Come on, man.
Okay, you can be quiet. Jared, how many wins you see on this schedule? Temple, Houston, Tulane, Texas, at Auburn, at LSU, at Missouri, Alabama at home, South Carolina at home, Tennessee at home, at Ole Miss, and Maine.
Over under on 6.5.
I think
you don't get to do that.
I'm gonna go 10.
10 wins? Wow. The hopium of Jared Reininger, man.
Oh my God.
14 points a game, 50 game winners for the Thunder, and now 10 wins for the Sooners going into year one in the SEC.
All right, Jared.
What?
Let's do it again.
I'm not making the bet now. This is literally like me firing from the hip from a year before the season starts.
You could hit in the head. You could nail it.
I could, but
realistically, Daryl,
you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. Okay?
Realistically, Daryl, I mean, I think anything north of 8 wins is a good season with that schedule.
Yeah, I would think I would set the over under like 7.5 or 8.5.
I would take the under on the 8.5. I would take the over on 7.5.
It's going to be right on that line. I mean, when I just wrote it down, I put us at 8-4. But there's a couple of those wins that I'm like, and there's a couple of those losses that I'm like,
there's so much.
Can I give some reasons why? Because like Temple, Houston, Tulane is interesting, but I think OU should beat them, right?
It'll be a game, but yes.
Longhorns, that's what's going to be interesting.
It's always a toss up, no matter what. Period.
No matter what, and you don't know. Like Texas has had more success than they've had in a decade. How are they going
Right.
to, continue to handle that? Auburn's interesting. They're pretty much terrible, but they were able to play with Alabama somehow. LSU is a team that I think people think are going to be really good, but like we could go about culture on that one for a long time. Mizzou, I don't think they're going to be able to keep that success up that they've had this year. I feel like it felt like a fluky year. I know they're going to have Williams Nwaneri and all that stuff, but Bama, I think we lose to Bama because I think Bama's going to be better next year, even though it's at home. South Carolina, I think we beat South Carolina.
I do too.
Tennessee, I think we may lose because I think Tennessee is going to could be better, but they're also a team that's like, you don't think Josh isn't going to get them absolutely hyped to play.
Josh going to want that game back.
Josh, yeah, because people forget, even though he's a head coach and he was an offensive coordinator, he got fired from OU and as apparently still has some pretty salty feelings towards OU.
Correct.
And Ole Miss is another one that I kind of think is,
I can't make them out. Yeah, I can't.
We're gonna lose to Ole Miss. We'll lose to Ole Miss.
At Ole Miss, probably just because we're there. I think we'll be tough, and then Maine, obviously, a win.
Yeah.
So it's there's a couple in there that are toss-ups, but yeah, 7-8 wins next year.
Yeah, it's a brutal schedule. Like 10 is like my cap, is what I'm saying. 10 is like my cap. I don't think we go undefeated or something crazy, but I think 10's in the cards if they.
And especially with the first year quarterback, right? That's the thing that and an O-line that's basically going to be a first year O-line across the board as well. So I just think it's interesting.
Here's what's crazy is that O-line might be better than this year's O-line.
They're going to have to find some pieces for me to believe that.
Did y'all see the portal stat, by the way? It was like last year, it was like 7% of players entered the portal or something. And this year it's already like 20-something%.
What?
Gosh.
I don't know if it's 20%, but it's like twice as high this year already. People have entering the portal.
Well, Florida basically lost their whole roster in the first 30 minutes it was open.
USC's getting an exodus as well.
They are getting an exodus. Yeah, it was funny to follow some USC accounts for sure. So
Oregon's about to be stacked, boys.
What? So, well, the other thing that came out today was the Big 12 All-Conference team was out today. Dylan Gabriel makes first team.
Unanimous,
which was pretty
should have been.
Stutzman was on the first team, I believe. Bowman was on the first team.
Dude, by the way, we didn't even, just real quick, you know who else entered the portal that blew my mind?
What?
Will Howard.
Yeah, from Kansas State. I saw that. Really crazy.
Apparently their fan base just hates him, but I was like, dude, that kid's good. Like,
the dude's going to get $2 million in NIL money. He's automatically the best player in the portal.
I don't know if I'd say he's automatically the best, but he's
up there. I mean, the quarterback is a position you want, right? KJ Jefferson, if he enters, might be up there.
He did enter tonight.
He did officially enter finally. Yeah. So who else I missed? I said Bowman, I said Stutzman, I said Gabriel. I'm missing one. Was it Drake?
Drake was first team.
And then second team was gosh, I've already forgot.
Andrew Rame was second team.
Oh, Andrew Rame made second team All Big 12. Jared.
Well done, Andrew. Most deserving, sir. And there's another one. Who's the second one?
Ethan Downs. Which apparently should make Daryl mad because he hates Ethan Downs. But yeah, dude, the rewards are a joke. Mike Gundy Mike Gundy should have been consideration for the coach of the year. And as much as it pains me to say this, you know who should have been the Big 12 coach of the year? Steve Sarkisian.
Neil Brown.
Or even it's like I could even make a case for BV that's better. You know what? BV, yeah, he lost to Kansas. And also will say he didn't lose to freaking South Alabama at home after playing QB roulette with Ollie Gordon sitting on the sideline sipping on Gatorade. And then didn't just get blanked basically by UCF. You know, it ran Ollie Gordon like 3 times in the first half or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. What a joke. Whatever. Anyway, but Andrew Rame, I'm sorry. I don't think he's deserving. Apparently, I guess I don't. follow the center position well enough to pick anybody, but I would pick anybody else probably. I like what's crazy is like I don't even hate Andrew Rain. It's just like, dude, like you're good. Like he's good. Okay. Like he's serviceable. He's a serviceable center. I think he's actually knowledgeable of the game. I think he can call out blitzes and whatever else. That's great. The dude's effort level, dude, like I could go on a 10-day bender and roll out of bed with the worst hangover I've ever experienced in humankind and have more effort than that man does on every play. I'm just saying.
Gosh.
So yeah, I don't know. That's but we're not even talking about like, and even Billy Bowman got the Thorpe Award, just absolutely shafted.
Snubbed. Completely snubbed.
I do not understand that. Like you look at the stats and it's like literally he's way better than all of them on stats, except for one of them has more tackles, but Billy has 6 interceptions, the other guy has 1.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's
and then well, like we said the other day too, like Stutzman not even making the final 12 for Butkus Award. Like I can see like the other guys.
He talked about it on the deal. Like he was like, yeah, he's like, that sucks. He's like, I don't understand how I wasn't like in consideration. He's like, but I'm more ticked off about Billy getting on it. Yeah. Getting on the Thorpe Award. Cause he's like, he deserves a bit more than I do.
Dude, 3 pick sixes in a year alone should put you in that conversation. Right, Troy?
Yes. 100%.
For those that aren't seeing the video, I just see that Troy's scrolling Twitter, so I decided to.
No, I'm not scrolling Twitter. I'm actually looking at the list right now.
Yes.
At the first, second team, and the all honorable mentions and everything, and the individual awards.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was like, honestly, outside of that, I thought the list was fine. I was actually expecting the Big 12 to shaft OU and Texas, as petty as they've been at times. Yeah. You know, I thought it'd be like, oh, you have Dylan Gabriel and Danny Stutzman, and that was it. Like, I literally thought like that was a real possibility.
Mm-hmm. Drake 100% deserves that first team this year.
100%.
Yeah. I didn't realize this. I think he has better stats than Xavier Worthy.
Oh, 100% yes. He does.
Nick Anderson does too, by the way. And he only got an honorable mention.
Yeah. Big Stoops led the conference in touchdowns, led the conference in receptions, and I think he's like 4th, 5th in yards.
Yeah, he's close.
Like something like that. I mean, like an incredible year. But I mean, again, you do have to give credit seeing that amount of guys on the first and second team. Again, BV and his staff did a good job this year of making this team better than it was last year. That's the biggest thing I take away from it in a big way. And by the way, Jeff Lebby deserves a lot of credit because Dylan Gabriel was better this year than he was last year.
No question.
He was a better quarterback this year than he was last year.
I said that on our last pod. I said you look at Dylan, I said, if you look at Dylan now, to me, he's reached his limit of what he just physically can do. Like Lebby squeezed everything he could out of him. All the weaknesses were pretty much gone. Not to say she's completely gone, but he still has some weaknesses in his game he can improve, but there's not a lot. Like the margin is much smaller.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. And so they deserve kudos for that, across the board. And so it's a great job by the staff. It's a cool thing. There definitely were some snubs on the national level, but within the conference, and I agree with you. I wondered if the Riders were going to snub OU in Texas. And then I also, with Texas kind of being the playoff darling team right now, I was kind of even afraid of that side coming in too, where Texas got all the honors, despite the fact that some of their players really didn't have the numbers.
Since we're getting closer to OU leaving the Big 12, at least in football, can we talk about what are they going to do for their commercials?
I was asking somebody. I don't know how that works as far as
no. I mean, they can make a new commercial, but I'm saying like right now they advertise, well, we have this many national championships.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the Thunder, for example, all the records of the Thunder that happened in Seattle, there's certain things that went down in Seattle that stay in Seattle and the Thunder cannot claim them. I don't know how the conference stuff works. Like, do they still get to claim those Heisman trophies as Big 12 Heisman trophies? Because OU was technically a Big 12 team when that happened?
Yes, I would imagine yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just saying I'm just saying it's funny to me that the Big 12 acts like OU and Texas isn't like leaving isn't a big thing, and it's like literally like quite literally 90% of the awards you're going to try to claim are from OU and Texas.
But that's why I have legitimate, like, I want to see the commercials next year, because if they keep naming all the Heisman trophies that are no longer in the conference, that's hilarious, number one.
Yeah.
But I think it will happen. But see, I was telling somebody the other day, the SEC network, like just like 6 months ago, did a SEC Classic, and it was OU and Missouri in the Big 12 championship.
It's kind of funny. That's
because Missouri's an SEC team. Like, so they played it. It's like, I don't know how that works. Like, I don't know, man. That's going to be interesting. I hope they have to keep using their stuff to just fill the time slot. Would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be so amazing. So, anyway.
But by the way, speaking of real quick, did you guys know that Oklahoma State has a reincarnated Adrian Peterson?
Oh, my Lord. Troy, I'll let you take this one.
You're going to do this?
I said I was going to put it. I put it in the flow.
All right. I think he's just as good.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, okay. And there is something to say though. I don't want to be the contrarian here, but I will. There's something to say here. Who had the better offensive line they were running behind?
Adrian.
No question. No question. There's not one NFL dude on that OSU O-line.
And to add to that, I would say the passing game ability of Ollie Gordon is on a completely different level than Adrian Peterson.
Yes, I mean Adrian Peterson, they had a Heisman winner behind him. Like Adrian that offense was insane.
But I'm saying Adrian running routes and catching the ball was way lower than Ollie Gordon's ability to run.
Oh, sure, yeah. But I'm saying the offense in general,
yes,
way better for OU.
But
it's kind of like the Chet and Wemby argument. We'll get to later.
Yeah. It's I think. Look, I think Ollie Gordon's phenomenal. I think he's the best running back in the game right now. But I fully claim my bias when I say I said earlier, I don't think he's quite as fast or quite as strong. I really don't think he's as strong as Adrian Peterson is. He may be as fast. I don't, that's immeasurable, but
I don't think he's as fast either. I think I'm with you. He's awesome. But you know what? Sam Mays, go ahead and speak your truth, buddy.
What's funny though is people are now, it's like Sam. I feel bad for Sam Mays sometimes because he gets called an OU homer, even though he played at OSU. Then he gets like stuck in the middle of the two fan bases, and I feel really bad for him because I don't think he was trying to throw, like he was making a compliment, and people are taking it. But yeah, I just thought that it was kind of funny that it
doesn't matter if he compliments OSU, like you said, every OU person comes after him, and it's like you're just trying to build up. And then when he criticizes OSU, it's like, you've just totally gone on the money train. You just want to ride OU's coat. I mean, it's so ridiculous, man. He can't.
Yeah,
the guy gives very good, educated, knowledgeable opinions, and everybody just tries to pigeonhole him one way or the other based on the day and the opinion.
Yeah. So I thought it was an interesting thing. So,
Jared, I believe you have some pick'ems for us to do this week.
So I actually was doing the pick'ems for the conference championship games. And I was just going to do the Power 5 or what's soon to be the Power 4, the Power 3.5 or whatever it's going to be. But I added one extra one in, and we'll get to that in a minute because I do want to talk about it just a little bit.
Yes. I haven't been involved all year. Can I be involved with this one?
Yeah, go for it, Troy.
All right, so if I win this week, I win the whole thing?
No. Pac-12 championship. Number 5 Oregon at number 3 Washington. This takes place, by the way, Friday.
But is it or do they play at a neutral site?
They did those. Well, I'm sorry. The ad is the designation. Sorry, I just had to put, but it's in Las Vegas. So I think the way I'm assuming that ESPN does it is they actually do it by like proximity. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. But anyways, Oregon and Washington play Friday in Las Vegas, 8 p.m. So it'll be a little Friday action. I want you all to guess who do you think's favored? Let me ask that first. Number 3 Washington.
Oregon.
By how much?
1.5.
Well, Daryl sees it, so I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Oregon's favored by 8.5.
Bull.
They're favored by 8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
So Oregon favored by 8.5.
Which, by the way, I do think that Michael Penix, there's a rumor going around he's got a slight injury. I think is part of the reason that's ballooned so high.
Yeah. I want to say I actually was looking, and I think one of the money lines opened like It's gone up a lot. So there has to be something that we don't know about because I think one of the lines opened at like 4 and it's at like 9 or 9.5. So they're all in that neighborhood. So anyway, Troy, Oregon favored by 8.5 against Washington. Who you got?
Give me Oregon.
Oregon to cover. Okay. Daryl.
I'm going to take Washington. I think it's a 7-point game.
I'm gonna go Washington. I know Vegas knows everything before it happens. So it's a little inside joke. But anyway, I think Washington's really, really good, actually. I know that they've been closer in some games, but this is the one that surprised me a little bit. I think surprised a lot of people because people were dogging on OU in the early season. The American Athletic Championship game is SMU versus Tulane. SMU ended up 10-2. They're a pretty good football team, guys.
Yep.
They went undefeated in their conference, which I know it's the American, but still. They went undefeated in their conference. And they're playing Tulane, who's only a one-loss team. So Tulane's favored by 3.5. This is Saturday at 4 p.m. in New Orleans.
In New Orleans.
So it's a home game for Tulane, basically. That one is at Tulane. So, Troy, I guess we'll start with you again. You look depressed, so.
I do?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
My bad. I was gonna take SMU until you told me it was in New Orleans. So I'll take Tulane.
All right, Daryl.
Yeah, give me Tulane. They're good, man. And they're gonna have a crowd behind them.
Taking SMU, baby.
Oh,
I think SMU is going to surprise people. I think that they're really good. I think they've actually gotten better just about every week. So, a fun one. This one's going to be a blast. This is what right now is the perennial SEC championship. Georgia and Bama. They're going to clash in Atlanta. So it's basically at Georgia, actually.
What do you think the line is, Troy? See if Troy can get this one.
I'm going to say the line is Georgia by 3.5.
By 4.
Ooh, by 4.
By 4. Okay. Georgia favored by 4. Daryl, we'll start with you this time. Who you got?
Georgia by 17.
Can you want to make a bet on that?
No.
All right. Just check. I'm just
throwing stuff out there and just hoping it sticks, man, that I can come back later and give it up to myself.
Give me Georgia.
Okay.
Jared's got that grin on his face. He's going Bama.
Do it.
He thinks
Do
Saban's
it.
Gonna be the Georgia killer.
I'm gonna go UGA. I'm gonna go.
We should be rooting for Bama in this game.
For the chaos. For the chaos, yes.
No, I'm saying for the OU win streak.
Oh well, yeah, that too.
Yeah. So Georgia's really stinking good though. Next up, this one's going to be a weird one, and I really want you to guess the line on this one. Big Ten, number 2, Michigan, playing Iowa and Indianapolis. I don't know whose home turf that is, but it's in Indianapolis.
Didn't I read that like Iowa's over under on the first half points is like 0.5?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think Michigan's favored by?
I'm gonna say 14.5.
You're close in number of touchdowns because it was 21.5. 21.5. So Michigan's favored by 21.5. Who are you taking?
Daryl, I'll let you go first.
Michigan. Do we all really need to do this? Can we all just move on and say Michigan? Because Iowa will not.
It's a lot of points, Daryl.
I don't care. Iowa cannot score points.
Give me that Michigan. Give me that Michigan.
They could put 28.5 on that line, and I would still be picking
just
Michigan.
go ahead and pick Iowa. It's cool. I get it.
Look.
Are you really thinking about it? No, do it.
He's being an idiot.
No, I'm gonna take Michigan.
Yeah.
I do think it's not gonna be like. I think like Michigan's gonna win by like 24 or something. Like
it could be 24-0. That's what the literal.
Yeah.
The only reason that line is less than 28 points is because they know that Michigan's just going to run the ball the entire game, knowing that Iowa can't score, and then just score a couple touchdowns and call it good.
Look, I will say this, as much as people are dogging on Iowa, and that's fair enough because their offense is historically bad, they're like reverse OU. Like, their defense is really freaking good.
Yeah. So is Penn State's.
Yeah. So, next up, ACC championship. You got number 14 Louisville playing Florida State. It's in Charlotte, 8 p.m. Saturday. Troy, line. What do you think the line is?
I like guessing these. This is hard because of Jordan Travis. I'm going to say 5.5.
He's killing it.
Yeah, it's 4.5 for Florida State. So
I will take Louisville.
By the way, we haven't talked about that. Did you guys see the quarterback get knocked out? We were watching during the podcast.
We were watching it. He got knocked out, and then you called it. You're like, hey, he came back in.
Yeah, I was like, that bro was taking a nap like just 5 minutes ago, and he's out there playing football right now.
I guess he passed all the protocols really well.
By the way, did you also see Kirk Herbstreit's rant about FSU?
It was a not suitable for work rant.
I did not see this, I guess, apparently.
Said that if FSU wins, even if they win, that it's a participation trophy for them to be put in the playoff.
He's not wrong. He is. No. Because you're telling me if we're going, I'm not most deserving in the record, straight best teams in America, that they're one of the 4 best teams in America without Jordan Travis?
Yes. If they beat Louisville without Jordan Travis, yes, they are one of the 4 best teams. Do they have one of the 4 best quarterbacks? Nope. But their team is one of the 4 best because Florida State, in my opinion, might be the 2nd best team in the country. Jordan Travis going down might drop them to 4th because their team is so good.
Who without Jordan Travis, who would be favored? Texas or Florida State?
The line has already been put out there that said that Texas would be favored, and I don't agree. I don't think Texas is a very good football team.
What about You've been stating for weeks and months that Texas was a really good football team.
No, I said they're better than OU right now. I've never said that they are a college football playoff ready team.
All right, what about Bama or Florida State? Which would be favored?
Bama.
Oregon or Florida State? Oregon would be Washington or Florida State.
Okay, Texas. Who's favored, Bama or Texas? Right now, today, who's favored, Bama or Texas?
Between the two of them or against Florida State?
No, against each other.
Bama.
Oh, what about Oregon?
Oregon.
Okay, so let's just do 3 teams. Screw the 4th team because obviously nobody else should be in there. If a team goes 12-0 and won 2 games with their backup quarterback, including a top 15 team, they get in. This argument of we're trying to pick the 4. So what are we going to do? Georgia loses 3 games early in the season and everybody else is undefeated. But the reality is Georgia's the best team. So we're going to throw them in there because
here's where I agree with you and disagree with you. I agree that they should no, here's why. I agree they should be in the playoff if they beat Louisville. I fully agree with you there. I don't believe they're one of the 4 best teams without Jordan Travis.
And we also said that about Ohio State the first year we did the playoff and they won the whole thing with their 3rd string quarterback.
No question.
So,
but I'm just saying,
I'm just trying to.
I don't think they're the 4 best.
I'm just trying to pick 'em, and mom and dad are fighting. So, Troy, who you taking? Or sorry, Daryl, who you taking?
I already told you.
I'm taking Florida State.
Okay. I'll take
Florida here.
I'll take Florida State.
What are we doing here? What are you even doing here?
We're doing pick'ems.
All right, let's do it.
Last one. Big 12. Should have been there. We didn't get there. Number 18, Oklahoma State, playing Texas, basically on home turf in Arlington. Who we taking? Actually, let me sorry. What's the spread, Troy? What's the spread?
I bet you it's moved a little bit because it opened at 11.5, I think. I bet you it's up to 12.5.
15.5 for Texas.
It moved a lot.
What's crazy?
Oh my gosh.
I am interested to see because apparently I've seen like conflicting reports because like I know that they said that the title game sold out and they had to start selling standing area tickets, but it didn't sell out till after OSU beat BYU. So some people were saying it's because Texas fans are so confident that they're going to beat OSU. Others were saying it's because OSU figured out they were going to be there.
OSU is going to be there in droves.
Really?
Yeah, they were there for the BYU game. Anyways, so we'll start with Troy. Troy 15.5 for Texas.
I want to say I'm going to be rooting for OSU. I'll just say that. I can't root for Texas.
100%. I agree with the statement.
I think OSU is not that great of a football team, and I think Texas could beat them by 24.
So you're taking Texas. I'm going to go next, and I'm going to take Texas, and I'm actually cheering for Texas.
Can I ask you why? Why?
Because one of his best friends is an OSU fan. He doesn't want to deal with the crap for the next 10 years.
No, I don't care. I've already talked to him about it. I've literally had this text conversation with him. No, I hate the Big 12 enough that I'd rather Texas leave with a win than give OSU one. And plus, I think OSU is a fraud of a team.
Side note, I have to pee really bad.
Well, why don't you go pee? You've already given us your pick. Go pee because we got Thunder Talks to still talk about.
I don't want to, it's already too long of a podcast.
Okay. All right, Daryl. Texas by 15.5. Who are you taking?
Texas should win by 24. The referees help keep it close. Oklahoma State covers with Texas with a win. I'm on the conspiracy train.
Okay.
Watch them backdoor cover.
All right, Girth. I even like name drop there. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch. It's the noon kickoff. So,
it's a nooner?
Yeah, it's a nooner.
It's a nooner.
So
it'll be interesting. Should be fun football this weekend though. I like the conference championship weekend. It's always a good one.
Yeah, what's funny is I even catch myself watching I'll watch like the Conference USA or what, you know what I mean? It's like I don't know nothing about those teams, but I just love watching like.
You know who's not in a championship game? Lincoln Riley.
Did you see? By the way, did you see the odds that he's the most favored coach to get fired now?
I did see that, and I love that.
It's amazing.
So much.
It's amazing.
But I think that's all the football stuff we got for today. So that means Troy gets to go off about.
It's time for some Thunder Talk, Troy.
I'm gonna make this really quick because I do have to pee a lot.
You wanted to go in the Giddey thing.
So okay. All right, we talked about this a little bit at lunch, D. But there's now some new rumors coming out on the Giddey stuff. For one, it's being investigated by the NBA. It's also being investigated by the
Newport, whatever police department.
Yeah, the police department. Yep. But from reports from TMZ, I think it is, that the family of the girl is not participating in police investigations.
I've seen it reported by a number of places, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. First thing I saw was from TMZ.
TMZ, yeah.
But Andrew Bogut came out on a podcast and said that the NBA and the Thunder have known about this for a year, and she lied about her age. And as soon as Josh found out about it, he immediately reported it, cut off all ties with the girl, has not had any interaction with her since then, and that the NBA and the Thunder have been aware of this now since it's become public. The public is the judge and jury now. That since it's become public, now the NBA has to say we're involved, we're investigating, and then the police get investigated. All of this stuff, I don't know what to make of it. I honestly don't. I hope none of it is true. I bet you there is some truth, some lies here and there. My question is, what does that mean if the family is not being cooperative in these investigations?
Well, I mean, from my understanding, regardless of the investigation, right? Like, they can investigate all they want. They don't have anything for sure. They don't have an eyewitness per se. They don't have video footage of the event, if you will. So therefore, the family would have to be the ones that say, yes, this all went down for there to be any charges pressed, right? The mom and dad would have to say, yep, 20-year-old guy slept with our underage daughter. We want him arrested for statutory, right? Like that'd be the deal. With if they don't participate, there is no case. The only reason Newport is investigating is because of the social media posts. That's the only reason. Because
the account's still deactivated that posted it originally.
Correct. Like, so that's the only way. If they say, look, we don't know anything, we can't help you. Well, there's nothing that can be done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other part of it is like I saw some rumors. I don't know if he's like if it was reported anywhere, but I just saw a rumor that like she had fake IDs and all this other sort of stuff. It's like they could just be trying to say like we don't want to, like she's going to get as much trouble, if not more, than he would by lying about it and all these other things. So I don't know what California law is or any of that. But yeah, it's a weird deal that they're just not participating.
Which like I've seen. Well, and I'm sure y'all saw the social media flood of every outlet that has reported that thing, that the family will not participate. And now that Andrew Bogut came out and said this all happened a year ago, every single comment is just nothing but the Thunder paid off the family.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a lose-lose situation right now that this has come out. And if I was to make a bet, and I would make a sizable bet, that this has happened a lot more in the NBA that has never come up in public.
Oh,
a lot more.
Probably so.
And so it's just standard procedure of what the NBA does with situations like this. This one just came out.
It just stinks because it's out, and now it will be a distraction the rest of the year.
And you saw it in the T-Wolves game. He got booed every single time he touched the ball in the T-Wolves game. It is what it is. The disappointing part of all of this is, like, I get you're 19, 20, 21. We all made stupid mistakes. Did not think like we do when we're olds now.
Yeah.
Right. But you can't, and hopefully this is a lesson learned for Josh Giddey. Mm-hmm. You cannot put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
You cannot do it. So that's all I want to speak on the Josh Giddey. Okay. I don't want to bash him on his on-court play like Dark D wants to. We're not going to do that. Okay. I do have an announcement. As you know, holy crap, I think I just like put a kink in my neck.
Speaking of holds, man.
Holy crap. That hurts. I need to drink more. All right. Holy crap, that hurt. All right. As you know, I have been spouting from the rooftops about Shai as the timeline for the Thunder.
Yes.
You've said that before?
I have said that before.
On this podcast?
And you know what? I want to say thank you to you, Daryl, and you, Jared, because you have recognized that I've stated that before a lot of other people, right? Specifically you two. But I also said before last year, before a 7-1 skinny beanpole generational player,
Poku.
Thanks for that bet, by the way. But before last year, that Chet was this generational player. Daryl, you were very skeptical, and you didn't say yes or no. I agree or disagree. You just said I'm skeptical, right?
I just said I got to see it. Got to see it to believe it.
We're 17 games in. I am here to state now there are co-timelines.
Oh wow. We have a branch.
No, it's the primary timeline. Okay. It's not a Loki situation. It's not a branch. This is the main timeline is Shai and Chet. All other are branches. All of the players are branches. Okay. Shai and Chet. This is it going forward. the way they have started developing together, I thought Josh and Chet would develop. No, it's been Shea and Chet, dude. And he is becoming more bold and aggressive in his play on the offensive end. He's putting on the deck more. He's seeing spots that he wasn't seeing before in the first 5-10 games. I am so impressed with Chet right now. Like, it's wild what he's been able to do in 17 games, and he keeps getting way, way better. Every game, it's like, you just dropped 33 on that guy? You just dropped 33 on Joel Embiid? Yes, you did, Chet. You keep going, big boy. So, like, I am so excited about the future. I'm so excited about the future. But that's just, I just want to get you guys' reaction. Now we have co-timelines.
Co-timelines
And Shea and Chet.
So I'm going to say something that's going to probably make you mad, Troy.
That's fine.
I don't think either of them is generational.
Okay.
But I think they're both superstars.
Okay, that's fine.
I think generational gets thrown around a little too much.
All right, so let me ask you this. What would be your definition of a player, an example of a player of a generational?
LeBron James.
Anybody else?
Maybe Steph Curry.
Anybody else?
I can't hear you
whispering over there.
Yeah, I can't. You're whispering.
I have no idea. Like, this doesn't work.
I was saying Giannis.
Giannis? I'm not going to say Giannis, but I don't know. I would probably go like LeBron and Seth. I think it's probably
anybody else in the last 20 years.
Didn't Jordan's game technically end in the 2004 or something?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan, like, that's my thing. Is like generational to me is like in a 10-year span, they're just like the dominant force of that generation for that entire span.
In my opinion, generational. Like, so, okay, it comes down to the definition of generational, right? In my opinion, is that person going to be a top 10 player of all time?
So you think Chet and Shea are both going to be top 10?
I think Chet has the potential. No, I've never. By the way, I've never said Shea was generational. I've never said that. I've said he's the timeline. I have said Chet is generational.
Yeah. His size and his skill set is what and that's that. Like, when I think generational, I think about guys that impact and change the game in a certain way, like whatever that is. And so, like Steph, for instance, he changed the game. The 3-point shot is now the standard of NBA basketball because of Steph Curry, right? Like,
here's some this is my opinion. Here's some generational players in the game. Kevin Durant, I believe, is generational. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think Steph is generational. I think LeBron is generational. I think Kobe was generational. Mm-hmm. I don't think Giannis is generational. I think he's a top 25 player of all time. He has real strong flaws in his game.
Yeah.
And so, and that's how good he is, that he can overcome a lot of those flaws, right?
Right.
I do think after it's all said and done, Jokic is going to be a top 20 player of all time.
That's a good call.
Look at all the stats. Nobody wants to admit it, but I think that's true. I think Chet has the potential to be there. Wemby has the potential to be there. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, like
Luka, do you think Luka has the potential?
No. He is far too inefficient with his game.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, like
he's Allen Iverson. He's a bigger Allen Iverson right now.
That's an awesome comparison.
I think that. I would love to see, like I said, I guess maybe I wouldn't be that far off, because like to me, like I had this conversation with somebody not long ago about like LeBron James. Like, I know a lot of people hate LeBron James, and that's fair. But I was like, I remember when he came in the league, and it's like, dude, a power forward that's that athletic and is that like can literally body up on you in the paint and also move around.
Point.
Yeah, like he can do whatever he wants. Like LeBron James is a freak.
100%.
And when he came in the game, nothing like that had ever been seen.
LeBron James is first or second, depending on who you talk to, all time.
Yeah,
he doesn't drop below number 2.
which is funny to me because it's always him and Jordan, right? Like
it is.
It
truly is.
And to me, it's like you can't. We had this conversation. I said this thing. This is actually what led to that conversation. Was my argument is you can't compare the two because you're comparing. It'd be like saying who's the better OU player, Baker Mayfield or
Gerald McCoy.
Yeah, it's like they're two completely different things to compare. If you want to compare Jordan to Kobe,
basketball is much easier to compare than a football.
Yeah,
much easier.
It is, but it's still a difference, right? Like
it's hard to compare Steph Curry to anybody. Like we've just never seen anybody with that game. Like what do you compare him to? Who do you compare him to? So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I agree. There's no, but like Kobe, I still believe is generational, although he is like Michael Mini.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. He was so close to his game in the way he played and the way he played both sides, their size, all that.
Well, Elijah one was so good, but he was like Kareem Mini, right? Like, so.
Yeah, I mean that's what's that's what's kind of funny to me though, is it's like honestly, like the more like I think when I was growing up, it was like I remember not liking Kobe when Kobe was like in his prime, just because like I guess he was a dominant force or whatever.
He was a douchebag.
Yes,
he was a douchebag.
That was the thing.
But it's like really when you think about it, Michael was a douchebag too.
He was an a-hole, absolutely.
But it's like, dude, like those guys, like especially after watching like the Michael documentary and some of the Kobe stuff, it's like, dude, like you can't knock their work ethic and you can't knock like their competitive level.
Right.
That alone makes them generational.
But the other thing was Michael didn't reveal his a-hole side of him on the floor. Like if you just watch,
he did 100%. He did
not like Kobe did. I
disagree. When he is literally like be like, hey, I'll make this free throw blind, and he just shoots it. Like that's so disrespectful. Like he was the biggest trash talker on the floor.
Yes, but you never he didn't do it so demonstrative. Even when he did that, he did it with this big smile on his face. Like, dude, do you think I can do it? Like when you watch that clip, if you don't know the backstory of Michael Jordan, it looks like a dude going, hey, dude, I'm going to try this. Like, watch this. And he tries it. Now, when you watch all the background, you go, that smile was, I'm better than you, and I'm about to show it to you.
Sure.
But it didn't, when you were watching the games, that's not how you saw it.
I have a question.
As you learned about the backstory of who he was, it was like, oh, this guy is a total a-hole. Kobe was that guy on the floor. Like, Kobe's the guy at half court yelling across the floor, you don't want this. Like, you don't, like, with the angry, like he had the stank face of Russell Westbrook with
that's my question.
Michael Jordan.
That was my question coming up.
What
is Russ generational?
Oh,
it's hard to like knock my bias out because he's like maybe my favorite Thunder player of all
time. Look at the stats, man. Like it's wild.
No one's gonna match his triple double stuff,
dude. I'm telling you, when he was in his prime, like that dude moved like nobody. I may jump on that band.
He was lightning on the court.
You know, okay, so by the way, this actually reminds me, have y'all seen the Bye
right, you guys talk.
Hey, okay. Have you seen the Bye Barry or whatever documentary on Amazon?
No.
It's about Barry Sanders leaving Detroit.
No.
It's actually pretty good. Which I didn't realize his dad was a massive OU fan. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
His dad was an OU fan, and when OSU showed up to recruit him, because OU hadn't offered him, like Barry Switzer didn't come recruit him or anything. And when OSU showed up, he said my dad wouldn't shake his hand, he wouldn't talk to him. He said the coach finally got him to talk, and he said, I think my son's making the biggest mistake of his life, even considering you.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So yeah, but
that's amazing.
It's actually really interesting. It's like tells his backstory, his deal. But it was the same thing. It's like when you watch Barry Sanders, like as an OU fan, I can look at Barry Sanders and be like, dude, that guy was a generational running back. He was one of the best running backs to ever play. And it's like he moved, like watching the highlights, it's like he's making NFL people look like high school children. Like he's just literally making people fall down. Like it was but
that is part of the reason why I put Giannis in the generational category. Everyone knows he has no 3-point shot. Everyone knows that all he's going to do is try to do his long range little run down the lane and dunk it on your head, and they cannot stop it. There is nothing they can do to stop it. Like, he does not have 6 things in his toolbox to use to score points and to put a team on its heels, and yet no one can stop him. Like, he is so good and perfected it, and he's so long and so athletic. You can't stop it. Like, that's what makes him unreal to me, is like, that's how good he is. Like, he doesn't even need to worry. Matter of fact, I think there's an argument to be made of Dennis Rodman. Like, no one rebounded like that dude. Like, he didn't have a bunch of other things, but he literally got put on roster after roster after roster
in defense
because he played defense and could grab every ball that came off the rim. And therefore he was wanted on a team. Like, you don't hear about that, like, in basketball. Like, so those two guys, that's why they make that argument for me, because of the way that they attacked that stuff. And the way that that, and it doesn't matter. It's like, I don't care that you can't shoot, you can't this, you can't that. I want you because you have perfected this part of the game so much. We need you.
So, well, yeah, and like that's what I was gonna say is like, to the generous thing with like Barry Sanders. Like I said, I highly recommend watching it. It's like on Amazon Prime, whatever. But yeah, like there's a play where I don't remember who it was. I can't recall, but it was like an All-Pro Hall of Fame defensive end is just bearing down on Barry Sanders, and Barry Sanders is basically in a box, like he's boxed in by his own O-line,
and he juked them all out.
And he literally just like, he not only juked him out, he made him fall to the ground and then ran for a touchdown. I was like, bro, like,
can we get back to the Thunder?
Yes.
I know I just took like the longest piss of my life, but that's all right.
So
here's my question, Troy. Here's what I need to know. Josh Giddey's what? What is he? 6'8"? 6'9"?
6'9", somewhere in that range.
Okay. He's 6'8", 6'9". Jalen Williams is what? 6'8"? 6'9", 6'10"?
J which one? J-Dub?
Sorry. Yes, J-Dub.
I think he's 6'7".
Okay, let's say 6'7". Okay, that's fine. Chet 7'1".
6'6". Yes, that's what they're listed at.
What was J Will listed at? J-Dub, sorry, J-Dub.
J-Dub 6'5".
6'5", and then Shea is
6'5", I'm pretty sure.
6'5". So that's quite a bit of length on the floor. Can we agree with that?
Yes.
Why can't they rebound? Why 17 games in are we getting destroyed on the boards when we have a whole team of people who have wingspans of 8 feet and they're all like 6'5" and 6'9" and 7 foot?
A few things. One is they're not crashing. The whole team's not crashing to the defensive boards as much this year, right? Because they're kind of relying on Chet a little bit, Chet and J Will and J-Dub to rebound. J-Dub has never proven that he's like a dominant rebounder. Especially, we're seeing that they put him at the 4 this year, and he's undersized as a 4. He's got great wingspan, no question. But when it comes to his size, he doesn't have great size, right? Also, whenever they go, and I would say the majority of the shots are they drive to the lane. I would say the majority by a small margin, right? Majority. Chet's coming over, or somebody's coming over, and when Chet goes for a block, he's not there to rebound anymore. And so you've got to have that backside to block out. And I know you gave a stat. They're the 4th best block, like 4th best team to, on their blockout rate, right? But when you're undersized, guys can just tip it. And as soon as you get a tip, that's it, right? Like then you're kind of screwed at that point because you're undersized. So I think the rebounding is we are undersized from a rebounding perspective. From a defensive perspective, we have great size. It can be both and. It's not and or. It can be both.
So we'll just get Schmitty's and Norman. We'll just get him up to
it has been a bit better since Kenrich and J Will has come back. Not great better, but it's been a little bit better. They got dominated on the boards by the T-Wolves. I say that we were having this discussion earlier, D. Like that coupled with Shea was not efficient shooting in the second half. Kind of allowed the T-Wolves to get back in the game and make it a game there in the second half. And it was a back and forth affair, but they they have to be efficient with the ball or with their shooting because their rebounding number differential has been so poor this year. So they have to be efficient with the ball, and they have so far. We'll see if it continues to trend that way. 17 games is a big sample size, but when they are efficient, they blow teams out. When they're not efficient, it comes go back and forth. They don't get blown out. The only game they've been blown out was the Nuggets, and I just don't think Chet was ready for Jokic that early in the season. I think it might be a little different.
And it was Shea's like worst game as a starter for the whole season.
It might be a little different now.
We're gonna find out in a week.
Right. So. We'll find out soon because, and I thought the litmus test was their game against the Sixers. Yes, they lost against the Sixers, but that was a great game. Like they battled. Embiid, yes, he had 35, but Chet had 33. Chet took it to Embiid. They guarded each other the entire game. It was a great game. So I love where the team's at. They're 11-7, 11-6 right now. 11-6.
6, yeah, 6. And tied 5th in the West.
Yeah, I mean, we're 17 games in. We have a lot of basketball to play. And so I know they lost 2 in a row, but they fought in both games. They've had the lead in both games. And so they're still the second youngest team in the NBA, even though they've got a lot of mileage. There's a lot of lessons they're learning each game. And we've only seen with the core, the timelines now. He's only played 17 games with this core.
Yeah.
So the fan base needs to give them slack whenever losses happen, and they start to pile up a little bit because they will.
Yeah, I agree with that. If I remember right, you and I think both said before the season, and Jared obviously with his 50-win season prediction, that this would be a playoff team this year.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't figure out rebounding, do you think it puts that in jeopardy?
A playoff team, no. I think they're that good because they've had the rebounding issue all year.
But they've also had that first really 12 games or so was pretty, and now you're playing, that's what we said, these next 12 games, you're playing more of the upper tier of each conference. And you're 0-2.
Yes, but it's an 0-2 that I'm okay with, if that makes sense.
I am too. I'm just saying, you got Denver coming up, who's got a rebounder.
They've had shots at each game and little inefficiencies within, there's a 5 or 6 minute stretch where they just didn't look in sync on offense, where the rest of the game they were great, right? And it was like little things like that. They have to keep it going, and they're learning that. But I don't. If the losses stack up like 4, 5, 6 in a row, then I'll sit here and be like, yeah, something's gonna change.
Okay. Final question on the Thunder. 17 games in that I want to come back to in a few weeks. Game's tied, 2.5 minutes to go. You're coming out of a TV timeout. What 5 do you put on the floor to close the game?
Chet. J-Dub. Well, okay, let me ask you this. How much time's left?
2.5 minutes. Tie ball game.
Okay. Shea, Chet, J-Dub. Shea, Chet, J-Dub. This is going to sound weird. It depends on the matchup, but I might go Isaiah Joe, and Case and Wallace.
Wow.
Because if you think about that, you've still got your defenders. You've still got Chet out there. Everybody can hit a shot. Your offense is going to be peak offense.
Yep.
The problem is you lose rebounding in that you lose interior defense when Chet's pulled outside and he can't have his weak side help. It depends on the matchup. Dort is in there. Giddey's in there depending on matchup, but it's like, I think that's the 5 I really like.
See, Giddey's the last guy for me.
And I would honestly throw Kinrich in there depending on matchup.
Yes. Yeah. Because I don't think Giddey's a great defender and he still is lacking offensively. He can facilitate all day. He's going to make the offense run.
Bro, I like where his defense is improving too. I don't think he's great, but I think he's above average right now because of his size, and his lateral quickness is good enough.
Sure. I'm just saying I would take Case and Wallace right now. One-on-one matchup defensively, even without the length.
Yeah, no, I would too. I think Case and Wallace is our third best or fourth best defender on the team. Fourth best defender. I think he's our third best perimeter defender and our fourth best defender overall. Dort's our best defender. Shea is our second best defender. Kaysen's our third best defender, and on the interior or the exterior. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak.
Perimeter.
Thank you. Holy crap. Chet is otherworldly when it comes to interior defense.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I got one quick question for you, Troy. You got to put a trade package together.
Don't do this. I'm about to cuss you out right now. Like, don't do this. Like, you saw the tweet I threw out there this morning. I am not.
Giddey.
I'm yelling at
Giddey, J-Dub, Dort, or Case and Wallace. Which one is? Which
what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You have to package that.
I'm not packaging. I'm not packaging.
He did. He wrote a very long tweet about this today. Let this team grow. That was the message. Is that fair, Troy?
Yes. You
have to give it. You would give up one of them for.
Not right now. No. Unless Giannis comes calling, or unless Steph Curry or somebody like that comes calling. Like hell, I wouldn't even take Luka right now because he's ball dominant and he screws up the offense.
Yeah.
Unless like KD called, was like, hey, KD for Josh Giddey. I'm like, yes, just do it. Let's go. Outside of that, like, no, like I'm not entertaining crap at the moment. This team needs to develop. KD, here's the thing. KD was not what he was at 20 years old of what he was when he was 28. Not even close. And so you're talking about everybody is within 20 and 25 years old on this team. They haven't hit their prime. Their prime, NBA's prime, is 27, 28 through 31. That's your prime peak playing days. And we have nobody in that facility right now.
Yeah.
At that age. So, no, let them develop. We're going to lose guys to contracts. We're going to lose guys to trades and all that fun stuff. It's going to happen because Presti is a wizard, and in Presti we trust.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, let this team grow. And I know you were goading me into it, and I fell in the trap, and I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's going to be fun. So it's fun to watch. And by the way, we're going to bring it up often and going to continue to push it. We are less than a month away from voting to continue a penny tax to build a new arena. And you need to ask you a question,
but Jared, I'm going to ask you anyways, even though you don't live here anymore. Would you vote yes or no for this?
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes. I'm pushing it.
Daryl and I had this whole long conversation, and Troy, I'll have to talk to you about it some other time, but I think it has bigger implications than the Thunder.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, as far as the arena itself has a bigger implication. I'll tell you what I mean.
I agree, but I think some of these people come out as like, oh, the owners should be contributing more. I'm like, dude, do you remember where Oklahoma City was at? Did you see what happened with Dallas today? No, what happened
yesterday? It was yesterday.
What happened? Oh, with Mark Cuban?
Mark Cuban selling his majority share to the guy that owns Sands and all that or whatever.
Yeah. But like that, you've got to push it. And we talked about this, Troy, before you returned to the pod, if you will. And we had a long conversation of
I'll be here for a little while, guys. I'll be here for a little while.
People have forgotten we only have the Oklahoma City Thunder because another city wouldn't pass a tax
100%.
system to build an arena.
That's the best argument.
That's the only reason the Thunder are here is because of that. And the owners of the NBA have to approve a move. And if you're not going to build a NBA level arena, they are going to move you because it is an entertainment industry.
Well, and
they ain't going to be okay with the Lloyd Noble like OU is. They ain't doing that in the NBA. So you've got to keep moving forward.
And we talked about this too, Troy. It was like, if you want to convince somebody that's older to vote for it, think about what Bricktown was before the Thunder 100%. Came down there.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes. It was Spaghetti Warehouse and nothing else.
Yes.
Yeah. It was like one block that you felt okay on, and then the rest you felt like you needed a bodyguard to be.
What was that club? Was it City Walk that was down there?
Yes.
It was like City Walk and
Sky Bar
and Spaghetti Warehouse and like the Yellow Brick Road out there. Like that was it.
Oh, it was bad. It was way bad. It was way
it's
bad.
A legit downtown that you want to go hang out at.
Yes. Yeah. It needs to happen. It's too many jobs. It's too much exposure for the city. So again, make sure that you get out and vote, get all that stuff going. So,
but hey, you know what? If you have the opinion that you want to vote no, that's fine too.
Yeah, you can vote no.
That's a wrong opinion.
Make your city terrible. It is wrong. 100%. So, Jared, do you have anything else?
Nope. F1's over. So, yeah, sad day.
I'm still not caught up in Wrexham. I need to get caught up in Wrexham.
Oh,
Daryl, did you watch all of Loki?
No.
You freaking...
I spent a week without internet, Troy. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this, and then came home with a sick kid for 3 days.
Okay. Dude, by the way, have y'all seen this? It doesn't come out till I think January, which I guess really isn't that far away. The new series that's it's like Band of Brothers, but it's about the bomber squadrons. So be on Apple TV. I'm actually pretty hyped for that.
It looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Did you see the Marvels? Either of you see the Marvels?
No. I had other things to do, like stare at the sun.
Do you like Marvel movies?
I do like Marvel movies.
Then go see the Marvels.
The first one is literally by far the worst movie in the entire MCU.
Wrong. That's wrong. The worst one is Incredible Hulk.
Which one?
The one with Edward Norton.
No, I liked it.
Oh my gosh.
Thor 2 is right up there as well, along with Iron Man 2. Hold on, I got a list. Hold on.
The Marvels.
Oh my gosh, we are not doing this. We're like 2 hours in.
Captain Marvel is the worst.
It is not. Daryl, what's the worst movie?
By a country mile.
I actually did not like Iron Man 3 at all. It's way down there.
I have Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, and Thor 2 and Iron Man 3 is the bottom 5.
Thor 1.
Thor 1 is brutal, man. It's not that good.
His bleached eyebrows are pretty bad in Thor 1. It's really bad. There's some
great moments in it, but he's actually Thor for 5 minutes of the movie.
Or you can watch Captain Marvel where she touches blue stuff and is just OP.
Oh, she's 100% OP. Yeah. 100%. What's the best Marvel movie?
Oh, Endgame.
Yeah, I agree. For me, my top 5 is Endgame, Winter Soldier, Thor 3, Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
I think I put Infinity War in front of Ragnarok, but Ragnarok's definitely in the top 5.
Yes.
Without a doubt. But
Civil War was good too.
Oh, Civil War is great. It's in my
Civil
top
War's
10
up, but Winter
there.
Soldier, dude, I can go. I might actually go turn that on right now as we get done with the pod, so I can edit some stuff.
I've been watching all the movies in a row with my daughter for the first time, and she just finished the second Avengers, Age of Ultron, and so Ant-Man now, and then Civil War. Her favorite one so far, and I'll keep reporting back so everybody cares, is Guardians of the Galaxy is her favorite movie so far.
Nice. Well played. The Last Guardians, that's up there too.
That's very good. Did you watch the Guardians Christmas special?
Yes. Good.
It was
so good.
I still haven't finished Loki though. I do need to finish Loki.
Okay, let me say this. Loki's ending, and I think I told you this, Daryl. Loki's ending, I won't spoil anything, right? But its final moments is the best moments in Marvel since Endgame.
Wow.
And it's not close. It's not close in my opinion. And I think it's a top 3 to 5 moment in all of MCU.
Wow. All right. I got to get going now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really do.
Very good. Very good. Well, there's your entertainment talk for this episode as well. So again, that's it for us tonight. We're always going to talk Sooners. We're always going to talk Thunder. So come back if you enjoyed this. We appreciate you listening. Hope that you will subscribe. Hope you'll like, leave some reviews, help spread the word as well. Find us on Twitter, interact with us there. Troy was going bonkers on there today. So make sure you get on and check it out. I'm Daryl. That's Jared. That's Troy. And we are having a great time. We hope you are too. We will talk to you guys later.
Bye, Baker.